Hi, Maureen. I can't hear you.
She's muted.
Can you say something?
It's unmuted on my end. Can you hear me?
Yep, we can.
Good.
Okay,
Are we ready?
we're ready.
All right. Okay. I'd like to bring this work session to the town of Snow Hill to session. It is April the 22nd at 5:02. We are in the Worcester County Government Center boardroom, room 1102. Let's take a look at your agenda. This is a budget work session that we are working on tonight, and we have a representative, the chief from the fire department, and he is going to give us the rundown of his budget requests for this year. So, are you ready, chief?
So,
Okay, go ahead.
so this year I did ask for an increase, up to $246,343.90 of funding from the town. That increase would continue to cover one position on the EMS side, and the additional money would go toward the fire. Sorry. The additional money would go towards, the fire department, purchases and funding. I had even provided a list to, town manager of what exactly we would be purchasing. And you have copies of that. Some of the things we were looking to fund this year would be a gear washer, which came in at $6,900. That would help to extend the serviceability of the gear going into smoke-filled environments where we experience a lot of carcinogen. We're trying to prevent cancer in the long run, helping to wash this gear, make it last longer, and help our firefighters maintain their health and safety and reduce the cancer risk to them. Additionally, I was going to use the funding for sensitive gas detectors, which help us pinpoint hazardous materials leaks, mainly centered around propane and natural gas. I was going to purchase 2 SCED devices, which were carrying devices and mobility devices. So if we had a patient in backwoods or snow where we were not able to get vehicles to them, we would be easier able to transport the patient out of that location to the awaiting vehicles. And then the last set of money was going to be used for 4 sets of turnout gear. We have a good problem to have right now, and we are having an influx of volunteers. The problem with that is we need to keep outfitting them with turnout gear. Generally speaking, it lasts about 10 years before we have to replace it, so we're on a constant replacement cycle. We have done very good about making sure our gear is within the 10-year life with the influx of volunteers. I'm now pushing that to the brink. I need to keep replacing it. When I made this request, those were the purchases that I was going to make if we were fully funded. I reading through the budget proposal, I saw the numbers in there. With the funding that we will be getting, I will be using that to purchase turnout gear for an influx of volunteers and to make them that serviceability, and we will be working on applying for grants to start funding additional purchases. If all is approved.
That's it.
Question?
Questions from council? For Chief Creech. Council Person Williams? No? Council Person Williams?
What were the things that you were looking to fund with grant money?
So, the first thing that we'll look to fund with grant money would be the gear washer. That would be one of the largest priorities that we have, is trying to get that funded. We already have a dryer in place at the firehouse that we need to be able to use in the meantime, but the gear washer, it's not just a normal, home washing machine. It's specially designed to not destroy the structural integrity of our gear. So there's different spin cycles that it uses, and there's a different washing or different soap that it uses to help eliminate the cancer risks that get kept in the care. Unfortunately, it's $6,900, and that's on the low end of the gear washer, but that is the first thing that we'd be looking at to fund with a grant. Going forward, additional things that we're gonna end up looking at funding with grants is we're gonna need a carcinogen reduction system in the firehouse relating to our fire trucks. We're gonna have to have the diesel exhaust pulled out of the firehouse. Currently, we don't have that in place. That's going to be a federal mandate probably within the next 2 years that we're going to have to figure out how to purchase, and it's not going to be cheap. There are grants available to it. We are working on the back end policy for the firehouse on how to procure this grant and then what it would do. That way we can hopefully get funding from the federal government grant wise for that. But this is a long-term goal that we have. I do know that the town grants administrator has been made available to us, and I'm very appreciative of that.
It's here.
We do have, I have connections with somebody who specializes in fire department grants. We have voted as a company to be able to use them because she has such a specialty in it. And she has been awarded multiple millions of dollars of grants to fire companies around the country. And we will continue to, when we get the back end done, we will be pursuing with her, and then we will also have the ability to work with the town grants administrator as well for smaller and more local grants.
That's wonderful.
And they're all confident, because in your final number here, it's 252 and you're asking for 246. They're confident they can cover that $8,000 difference.
I apologize because I did not see that updated number. 250.
252, yeah, what do you, total fire.
That was probably at the beginning of the process.
Okay.
They're changing documents.
Okay.
I mean, they're moving documents, so it is the 246, 344
Okay.
is the request.
I believed, and correct me if I'm wrong, I believe that that number was not in somewhere, or was it fully?
It may be that
done?
you mentioned the county part of the, was less than this year.
Okay.
And it might be that it had the 94 versus, that might be what it was.
Okay.
You mentioned it. I wrote it down.
So we would be able, with this number, we'll be
Yes.
able to fund. So,
I have just, I guess it's kind of a stupid question probably, but, does the fire department pay for water, or is that town provides that?
the town provides, the town has always provided it. We've been very fortunate in that aspect that they've provided it to us. I'll try not to fill up just out of a regular garden hose. If we have to fill up, we'll either pull water from the river or use a fire hydrant. That way we're not using all, because it's a dead end main out there. We don't want to try to use all the water on the dead end main to cause more sediment to everybody, the few houses that are out past the fire hydrant.
Yeah.
So we do our best to actually use a fire hydrant more in town to fill up our trucks if we have to. Luckily, it's not very common that we have to fill up the fire trucks. The main use of water is bathroom, kitchen, and the occasional washing of fire trucks, especially during pollen season. But we do help, washing them does help us maintain their life, just like your car. I mean, I'm not doing paint corrections on a fire truck every week, thank goodness, but it does, especially the repairs and the diesel wear and tear, helping being able to wash them. I don't know what our usage is. I don't even know if there's a meter out there.
That is part of what the town has been looking at, is being able to meter it so you know what you're using, the town knows what they're using, and
Yes.
That's not one I just talked to Brandy.
You did.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
not one.
No, that was all.
Okay.
Just curious.
Councilperson Fletcher, you have any questions?
No, I don't.
No.
I do, this is probably not for you, but it's probably for Dil. 7105, our department, it's grant, what is that?
that is the county funding to the department. To the fire department for out-of-town calls that is paid and to the town is a pass through to the, fire department. And that's what I was saying to the chief. I think it's lower this year than it was last year. Or I think you thought it was going to be.
I think I thought it was gonna be.
It might not be,
I think
but whatever it is,
I do believe there was a miscalculation at one point, you have that corrected, that, but I do believe.
whatever they goes, we will pass it on. All of it.
So this 84 is just what we're proposing, the 75,000 is probably what,
If it's 84, that's what Chief mentioned. Last year, I believe, was 97, and this year, I'm not sure, but it's really an in and out. It's a pass through.
It's not
Based
any
on
money
account,
we're
no.
putting out.
No, it's based on the county formula that they fund the fire department.
So. Now I see where we're at here. Cause I looked at my numbers.
That's okay. It's like, these are moving
Yes.
documents.
So every year, we'll go based off of the calendar year prior. Any out of town calls that we would get credit for, the county will write a check to the town for this year is gonna be $84,000, I believe. And then it just in one account and then right back out to us from the town as the pass through. When I did my initial calculations on my sheet here, I have included it in my overall sum. So if I'm getting funded at 246, that is minus, that is after the pass-through funds have already come through. The fire department and EMS funding in the county is severely damaged through all the formulas. And it is very difficult sometimes to figure out where all the money comes in and goes out. We've done our best, but then when we get the pass-through funding from the town, it's very difficult. Zanell does a great job, but then we put it in our town of Snow Hill budget that we get in our worksheets.
Okay,
And then it's sometimes hard to delineate which one is actually funded
okay.
by the town versus what was then passed through grant based off of the call point. So this year it could be, we could run 70 calls out of town and only get 70,000. That's going to change my numbers for next year when it comes through. So I do my best to account for a drop, a reasonable drop in calls. However, it's not been the case over the last 3 years. We've had an increase in calls,
An
so
increase out of town,
out of town and in town.
out in town.
Yep.
Okay. Okay, does that help you? Okay. All right, any other questions? From anyone? No? All right, we just want to thank you for all your work and, with Tyson in particular this year, last year, it was, amazing what you do. I mean, you were, briefing us twice a day on everything that was happening, and you don't know how much that made us feel, because in the beginning it was a little scary there for a while.
Absolutely. Listen.
And, I know you saw a lot
A
and.
lot of lessons to be learned, for all of us, myself included with that one. I appreciate the town's support and letting us do what we needed to do and being there for us, and then to back us up when we needed to, and then stepping in when we needed you guys to. I know you're thrown into the fire within the first 2 days,
Yes.
which we will address.
Okay. All right, I appreciate that. I think it's a great partnership, and I look forward to your banquet. And I appreciate the firehouse staff and you being good sports by delivering Santa Claus and Easter Bunny and being part of our New Year's goat drop. So I thank you for all of that, because you are certainly a very important part of our community.
That's what it's about as a community, so thank you. We appreciate being invited to all the events that we are. We appreciate letting us go out and deliver Santa and Easter Bunny and do the goat drop. So
Okay.
thank you.
All right, thank you.
You're very welcome. For you of what ours would look like. Mary, you should have one already. You want another copy?
I got one.
Okay.
You got everything you need? Finance?
It's like,
Yeah, yeah,
You just like the color copy.
yeah. Color copies are nice.
better with those.
So if you want to get
The-
it's multiple pages.
So.
Would you like one? I'm prepared.
He's always organized, super organized.
Thank you all very much. I
Alright.
appreciate it.
Okay. All right, now, moving on to other budget discussion. And I want to go back to our last meeting for a minute and look at Councilperson Fletcher's recommendations. Do you have those in front of you? If you could kind of review them and then council can say whether, I mean, you've had time to take a look at those and, we were looking at 70-10 discretionary, and make sure I get this correct. And Ms. Hempstead, okay, we went from 3,000 to 2,500, is that correct?
I believe
What was that, was that
No.
correct?
Well,
that's the number.
70-10
Under 10.
70-10 under,
Discretionary fund.
discretionary,
well, that was under the mayor and council, I said, or, no, I didn't say it. Yeah, it was under finance
Mhm.
and administration. So,
okay, and you're basing that on what we have done in
the
the past?
previous,
Is that- I
yes,
thought that's what you said.
yes, because,
Okay.
the 2024, it was only, the actual was 1867. We budgeted, 2,500 and, 25. I know it. We budgeted 25 and we've only used it.
Okay, so did we budget at 3,000 and we're going down to
Budgeted.
2,500? Is that what you're asking for?
Yes.
Okay,
And what number was that,
70-10 under the finance and administration.
okay, so can we go to, this is the next one I had, 70-31, and it was under training. And it was 6,000 and you wanted to go to 4,500,
Yeah,
and that was also based on previous
previous, yes,
payments.
with a little,
Okay. And we talked about first aid, and that was a pass through. And I think that was 6098 or something, 2,400.
we talked about what?
For first state, and that the money for
What line
inspections
was
is a
that?
pass through. I have 6098. Maybe that was on another different page. And under 69, under
Oh, I
planning and
asked about it.
zoning.
I asked about what was that
Yeah, we
for?
for, and that was a pass through. Okay, and 70-31, so again, 70-30 under streets.
I have, sorry.
Did I skip one?
I have under
70-31 under planning and zoning,
Yeah.
yes, for the 2,500.
From 47.
And now streets, 70-30,
Yes.
and you're reducing that to 3,000
I'm from 70.
from 3,700. Is line one under streets? And it's 70-30 under streets. And you're asking from 3,700 to reduction to 3,000.
Yeah,
Is that correct? Did I miss any?
No, it's just those four.
Those four, okay. And since this is a balanced budget, if you reduce certain line items there, where do you want, it has to go somewhere else? So we're talking about what, $4,900 or so? Is that it? 1,900?
4,900. Well,
So would you like to give us some idea of what, where you want that to go now?
um,
Are you
I
thinking
would-
about reserves? Are you thinking about another line items? Well, let's do this first. Council, are you in favor of this? The other members of the council, are you in favor of these line items being reduced? You're fine with it? Okay, Councilperson Lee also, okay. And where do you want these to go? This money.
If I can, make that.
Sure.
I'm gonna let her finish it.
Okay,
I say reserve.
reserves. Council,
I'm trying to see how budgetary wise we can help reduce the water bill sewer costs. What difference in terms of things that we can save in the budget on specific line items? If there are savings there, would that help in the reducing costs at the water plant or sewer?
which is, my understanding is they're separate, correct? The water and sewer is separate from operational, or,
Yes,
yes, they're separate.
so, I guess the best way to say it, we can reduce the cost, in the general budget. But like, the auditor said that water and sewer is a NC, kind of like NCO zone that has to make money, and Bobby can attest to that better than I can, because they're on time, but we can look to reduce, or I mean, over time, see savings within the general fund.
Yeah.
I mean, related to general fund and water and sewer, they are two separate things. There is some interaction there, and that's something maybe discuss at a later date, but just about the current budget, what's presented. So basically, like Gene Holloway says, enterprise fund. What you're bringing in is what you need to support your water and sewer systems. And currently, I worked with Lou for almost 18 months on this. We have hammered out budgets. When I got here, this place was an absolute mess. The budget was a mess, the plant was a mess, everything was a mess. Previous administration raised the rates, trying to just recoup it so the town could just, try to get ahead of things. Mayor Simpson, agreed to use ARPA money to try to support the funding of the plant, buying pumps, different things. I'm sure she would have loved to have spent that on other things. But that money, we used it. We don't have ARPA anymore. And now we're at a point where we're still trying to support the plant. The rates haven't kept up and we have to go up to keep supporting what we're doing. And we're still at a point where we have Maryland Department of Environment nipping at us, just wanting to put us in the consent order right now. And if we make one slip up, we have one violation where we're not keeping up, we're not financing the plant properly, we're not supporting it properly, they will take away basically town's ability to have any control over it. They're gonna say, you're gonna do this, you're gonna do that. And at that point, it's not up to the council. You gotta do it. So,
I understand, I hear they're separate operations.
Mhm.
I'm looking at, and the question is kind of you said, in the future.
Mhm.
I think the future is now for planning, for where we are, where today, and what we gotta do. I said, everything that you said.
Yeah.
I have no question.
And I think it's,
So my question is, if I may,
Yeah.
my question is, how can we, what are the avenues that we can, out of the larger budget,
Mhm.
total budget,
Right.
can we support some of those costs that you've got to, and then what I'm looking at, bottom line, coming back, objective.
Yeah.
Taking the burden off of the taxpayers.
Right.
Okay, that's what I'm looking at. So I don't know
Right.
I'm new to the game, so I'm learning.
Yeah.
Okay? But what is your scenario, even if it's long-term? We're not gonna fix this problem, this budget, next budget. It's gonna be 2 or 3 budgets down the line before it gets fixed. But I think we need to look at that and
Absolutely.
plan toward that.
Absolutely.
If we're not, for me, you got blinders on.
Yeah, and I think that's a future discussion. And I know you feel that's with this, but we do have a budget we need to get past to be able to operate. And from that point forward, we could talk about putting the system on the right financial footing and talk about how the money's being divvied up and different things. I think previous administrations and Lou, we have sat down with this on multiple occasions for 18 months. Previous administrations, I don't think understood what it really took to operate the water and sewer system. When that plant was built in 2012, the actual true cost of operating it and planning for the future was never taken into consideration. And it's always been kind of behind the 8 ball. And we've been always playing catch up and pulling from reserves. And basically this year's budget, and correct me if I'm wrong, Lou, is we're in a moderate severe situation at the current moment. If we don't have that funding coming in by this time next year, we're going to be in severe critical condition. And as a town, I believe there'll be a coin flip if we make it to the end of the next fiscal year without raising the rates, or we're going to be talking bankruptcy.
So to answer your question, the deficit is hundreds of thousands of dollars. So the rates are not raised to not even master's money, it's even still going to be a small deficit, but it's not going to be much that, you definitely will cripple the budget, because then we're taking from things that we would need to do. I've said this a number of times. The budget that's presented in the general budget, 78% of it is not things that it's not what I want. It's things that need to be done in wastewater. Public Works, police station, these things that have to be done. If we're trying to take money from that budget, it will cripple other departments, and it will definitely put the town in
I honestly feel like
so.
I honestly feel like, I don't think I have to be careful. I'm not being critical. I am saying how to help, and I'm hearing something conversely. Maybe maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm not listening, I'm not connecting.
No, we were trying to say that it's something that can be over time and we can get to, but if we're trying to do it in a 1 year, 12-month budget, it's not gonna happen. But it's gonna be,
Might I try? This year, for years, the town did not increase the rates to support the plant.
Yeah.
So for years, the plant would try and cut costs, which is what you're looking at. And the plant ended up where it is with bond, which is MVE coming in and none of the pumps being replaced, just on and on.
Yeah.
So 2 years ago, the town, it was hard. I mean, it was terribly hard. That increase was hard on everyone. And it needed to be done, and it's still not enough. So in this current year of fiscal year 25, there is $300,000 in reserves in this current budget, so not to increase the rates this year, fiscal year 25. Now you're in fiscal year 26, and you're facing $500,000 deficit if you don't do anything. And your reserves are $750,000. So you got $300,000 this year that you haven't even had audited yet, and $500,000 next year. It's dire. It really is dire. And I mean, I think it's very difficult to, again, I have worked with Bobby. He knows, I'm like, where can you cut this? Where can you cut that? Because he has worked very hard to cut the costs. And then this year he has come with an operating budget that he feels is going to get in line with the rates. You are hoping
And I mean,
that it's getting into line.
and everything we present is a true best, estimate and what we're trying to do here. And I'm trying to, say, I'm only gonna have 4 pumps fail this year. And I'm estimating it's gonna cost $7,000 to fix each one of them. Well, I don't know what's gonna happen to them. I don't know if it'll be 10 or 20 or if it'll be 6 or 7 of them, but it doesn't matter. I have to fix them. I have to keep it running, and that money has to come somewhere. So at the end of the day,
I'm not asking, my question is not taking any money away. There's a simple question, that there's $4,900. Can any way that go to help? That's what I'm asking.
Okay.
And
That's in the general fund. That's the first problem. That's in the general fund. That general fund is totally separate from your water and sewer. If you make a decision to use taxpayer dollars, which is what Gene Holloway has said, you are depleting the operating fund and supporting the water and sewer fund. That's what you're doing. You're not bringing in the revenue to cover the costs.
And something else, and 2 years ago, we raised taxes also.
For public safety.
Yes. And we're not raising taxes this year.
County gonna raise them, ain't got to. Watch.
The county.
I guarantee
They are.
that's what's gonna happen.
Well, they've got wastewater treatment this
You
year.
cannot take operating fund, general fund that supports the police department, public works, admin, museum, fire is all general fund money from taxpayers and general fund grants. The water and sewer are supposed to enterprise funds support themselves. This is what you need to spend and this is what you need.
so
period.
you're saying, your response is that, no, you can't do it because the taxpayer dollars.
It is. You can offset it. But it's not the proper way. You should be supporting the water and sewer.
I got that. But all I was asking, and I'm hearing like, saying something against water and sewer. I'm not. All I'm asking was the question, and the answer to my question, no, sir, you can't do that, buddy. Buster, those are taxpayer dollars. Am I correct?
That is yes. Taxpayer dollars are not to be used to support the water.
Okay, I got, now, help. This is going forward. We got, saving this, what we're doing in the future now is getting ready for next year, okay? But I think I heard, that there is a way that this $4,900 could be used. Or did I hear that? To
Not
offset-
properly. You would be,
Tell me what that means now.
that means you would literally be approving using operating funds, general funds to offset the water and sewer. It's not a sustainable thing. It's not
because it's
sustainable.
not sustainable.
Yes,
And it's not, in terms of what she said, it's not balancing.
that is correct. Yeah. It's not balancing your expenses with your revenue.
So what would be, as chief operating officer on, what would be if we were able to come up with, because of the situation? Is there a way, I think logically or ethically, probably the best way to say it, that we could use some operating monies to put there, for example, the,
It's not the right way. Okay, there's no way I can tell you that that is the right way. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's not
I cannot.
that's not quite, thank you.
Okay. Other questions from council? Councilperson Watkins, do you have any? Any? Yeah. Councilperson Fletcher?
I'm looking at these.
Okay.
So when we look at water, this is my question. We looking at the water fund for revenue. Tell me how the increase was calculated. Can you tell me that?
It's in the
Um,
sewer report, the water report.
The
The study.
revenues from the meter water sale from 2025 to the 2026.
That is the estimate based on the increase in the water rates. As Jean Holloway presented it in her study. Again, this is estimates.
All right,
Doesn't mean that the town is going to.
In the rate, and it's in
In
this
the
rate
That's
analysis.
an estimate.
so this is basically an estimate on people using over the 6,000.
No, it's the entire, it's the base, it's the base and over 6,000. That metered water is the entire revenue, including your base and your over 6,000 gallons. And the out of town 2 times. It's all there. The only thing that isn't on that line is the $2.50 a quarter capital improvement fee. And that's on a different line. $10,000 from 5010.
Okay, so the way I understood her is if it's gonna go up for the quarter, it's gonna be the ones who use over $6,000
For water.
for water. Plus the ones out of town are gonna be charged
2 times.
2 times. So how, that's what I'm saying. How do we calculate how many people in town? Do you
I
know what I'm
think
saying?
it's based-
You're off, but I'm just asking. Cause I don't have that.
This sheet right here.
Yeah.
I think it's based on previous year numbers. So they take the previous year numbers with the current
Yeah, no,
rates, and then they take that usage with possible estimated rates. That's how you get the figure,
I think
I believe.
at the
Right, only so many residents, right?
your sale or bill.
Well, now didn't they take the averages from our
System.
our
From our-
system,
from
from
what
our,
we actually-
our month-end systems? Every time we build, they collect the data of how much that we build, and then we were obviously comparing it to what Bobby's water use is. And they're preparing that using those figures to estimate for the next year's figures.
The meters.
Yeah.
The meter part, and the non-revenue water
The
is
non-revenue.
based on
What is
what Bobby's.
Bobby's got? Yeah.
And again, it's all estimates. And people will conserve, and that's a good thing.
Oh, I think she also compared it to the previous rate study too, kind of to see the,
2023.
yeah,
Timeline.
yeah.
And according to Randy, that's not many residents that's gonna be charged 2 times.
About 40. But at least it's being proposed to help the in-town residents not have all of the necessary increase.
And again, most of those are only I'm letting y'all know from what I asked Randy yesterday, that the out of town people are mostly only use water. They're not using no sewer. So that's where we could be getting revenue, but it's not. We don't have customers using that.
It's not piped.
Right, yeah. He said, and that was way before his time.
In reality, I think you would have annex
He had talked
properties.
about it.
You wouldn't even have this. I don't know, like you're saying, when out of town people were
Yeah, he
able
said
to
it was a
access.
long, yeah, long time ago.
I think normally
So
you would have annexation to,
Mhm.
get to the
Yeah, he
town.
said that's what he had.
Yes,
said
my
a
mother,
long time
my mother
ago.
was thinking about.
Yeah,
Yeah.
said, he said that should have been done.
And then that helps you identify as well as your water.
Never
sewer.
happened.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I did get that much explanation.
Oh, good.
I mean, to understand,
lot.
because that's what I was
Sure.
really trying to figure out about the water. How many out of town people we had that would be actually paying that 2 times.
And it was 1.5
Yes.
before.
And she
Now I-
she
including it
recalculated
up
the
to
rates
2.
with that.
With the jail being out of town, I'm sorry. I was just curious, with the jail, are they considered an out of town user?
I think they are.
And are they being
I'm not-
charged out
I'm
of
not
town
sure.
rates?
Who is that?
That would be one.
The jail?
The jail, the rec center,
I don't think they're
With the
paying.
county.
oh, they pay
Okay.
huge
They
amounts.
They pay.
That's what I'm saying, if they are getting that charged amount, they pay tons of money.
But
They're some of our
they're
biggest
not
users.
gonna be out of town, he said. It doesn't go that way.
They're considered out of town residents or out of
No.
town users.
He said their town water all the way, but in town, I mean, going towards McDonald's, the ones on the left aren't, but all the ones on the right are. The 2 streets on the left aren't.
Yes,
And when you get out here past the fire station,
yeah,
they
First
aren't.
Street, yeah, Snow Hill Road, yeah.
But he said that, from all the way out there, because they're putting in the water and sewer, they're still considered town. That's what he said yesterday.
I mean, maybe I don't know, I have to talk to him about that.
They're outside the town borders.
They're outside the town border.
And I think they pay. Wallace Drive in that area is 1.5 times on the left side. I think it was just water. There might be,
Are you talking about Market
yes,
Street?
market.
Yeah.
On the left side, I just know that area,
Mhm.
Wallace.
It's
Side, it's
Steffi
out of town.
Drive, Steffi and Wallace.
I'm
Yeah.
not sure about Steffi, I just know that.
Steffi's out of
Steffi's
town.
out of town.
Steffi's out of town.
They use the water, but they have septic.
Well, I don't know what will happen when there's
Well,
septic,
when their septic go up,
They're
you
gonna
have
have
to
to.
tie into the town.
and then they would be annexed, I
And
think.
the
It says
jail's
in the
out of
tentative.
town, so I don't,
I
if
don't-
he
that I don't
says,
know
I don't know, I can just check on that.
He was talking
He was
fast,
talking, yeah,
but
he's
he
talking
was-
fast.
I mean, he was
Usually
actually,
does.
yeah, he was not, this was after work, so, but that is what he said. He may misunderstood my question,
Right.
but we are gonna touch base again on Thursday.
Good.
So,
Good.
yeah,
Now.
I told him that I was
Maybe,
happy that he returned my call after his hours, but we made it, so we're gonna touch base on Thursday.
okay, good.
Yeah, we do talk and keep it up.
Yeah, that's good.
Again, they're out of town. I don't know, did he talk to you about that situation?
Yeah, he
They're-
was,
they're in
he
town.
started
They're
telling me
in
about
town.
that, but that's why we're gonna touch base on
Okay.
Thursday about that.
Annexation, I mean, not annexation, but town limits, et cetera, all the way to McDonald's is in town.
But the actual water system isn't owned, but we operate and run it.
But we operate, and we're looking into all of that.
Yeah, he was talking about, he's gonna touch base with me on Thursday about that.
Okay,
Yeah, cause he said he wanted me to really understand.
good. Glad.
And I told him I mean, the questions that I do ask him, if he can't tell me right away, I do like that he gets back in touch with me and make sure I.
Okay, good.
unfortunately, too, I might mention that septic and leachate. So not only your costs increase, your revenue increased tremendously from not being able to take that. So that was also, helping with the rates.
Yeah,
But,
it's a hit.
I mean, it's the right thing. I don't mean that. I'm just saying on numbers, it's a hit.
It is a hit. But the best thing for the plant,
Yeah.
gotta look at that
And that's what I'm saying,
always,
that whole MDE and
MDE. And fines and correction, action plan.
So does that change anything towards the plant? Being that we aren't, besides the revenue, what else does that change within the plant?
The debt, where are you at right now? On the wastewater side or water side?
this,
Oh, I'm not looking at no numbers, I'm just asking a question.
About the debt,
Okay.
that comes out of the, basically the operating expenses.
of the sewer.
Yeah.
I think that Bobby, I kid Bobby that, but it's not like Joe. Bobby is the corrective action plan, in my opinion.
No.
And he has worked so hard to get that plan, was seriously not okay. And unfortunately, all these costs and revenues and everything are necessary because part of the reason it got to that is that the town was not charging enough to get the revenue to pay for the expenses and the equipment that plant needed. So in addition to this budget, you have about, Paul's working on that now, $250,000 to $300,000 in ARPA funds this year. So you have a budgeted 300,000 in reserves, and then you have an additional 250 to 300,000 in ARPA funds that have been applied to sewer and not increase the rates in fiscal year 25. So it's $600,000.
And that's
It's just,
That's just sewer. I mean,
That's
I
just-
don't know if they understand the
Yeah, we do.
amount of
It's-
ARPA
it's
funds that
massive.
we have put towards. the-
water is better. Water, then that's what they.
Water is getting
Yes,
there,
better.
right?
Yes,
It's better.
You're not increasing the base.
But we spent $150,000 from ARPA this past year to rehabilitate Washington Street
The
well.
well.
Because it gave out finally. It had been worked on in over 30 years. And it finally had enough, and we had to do something about
So
it.
that
And
big
shut
supply
down.
of water.
It's
right?
being worked on now, and part of the increase in the rates is also trying to plan for the future. Right now, the Ross Street well is probably a couple years behind Washington Street, and it's starting to show its age. There's gonna be another one that's going to be addressed eventually down the line. After that, it's gonna be Colburn. You're looking in the next 5 to 10 years, going to have to rehabilitate the other 2 wells. So that right there, this project was $155,000 to rehabilitate Washington Street well. So 2, 3 years from now, that might be creeping up, it's higher now. So these are things to take into account also of trying to plan for the future.
And you said that, Purnell Street, the improvements on Purnell Street was really helping.
It's promising, the numbers coming in the plant, we're gaining capacity back from what I can tell, short term. We need longer term data, but it is good.
See, we talk, excuse me,
Go ahead.
see, we're talking again, Bobby, and we're talking in terms of what is today, I don't know what, not just dealing with what, who we gotta do that, but we still gotta look at it. And, at the bottom line of all of this, it's about revenues. At the bottom line of all of this, all of the discussions, you hear all the people here today, bottom line, revenues. And old saying says, you can't have a champagne mine in your pocketbook. Okay, and even in planning, you can't do it. But if we fail to look at where we are now and talking, you just said it, 5, 10 years down the road, if we don't create a revenue stream, we won't even be here. Not we're going to be, we won't be here.
Right.
No revenue stream. what are we gonna do about it?
Correct. So, um, is there anything you guys want to talk about, any line items in the sewer water while I'm here?
Yes, because you need to get going, yeah. Anything else? Yeah.
Council Fletcher, I just wanted you to know at the last meeting, because when I can hear, I kind of listen. You mentioned being mindful of the utilities and the calls. We had talked about
Oh,
that.
yeah.
And
I
yeah,
talked to
we did.
Randy.
That's right, we did talk.
sent an email to Kansas to speak with the mayor and, Rick about issuing a memo to everyone about your request to concern with the 25% increase in the utilities. And Teron and Candace just at town hall and the general fund are looking. It's something that takes time, but they're looking at the Comcast, the Verizon, all the utilities in an effort to get the best price for the town. So even though you have these funds budgeted based on prior years, anything that costs less is a plus. I mean, that is a good thing. So hopefully that helps your bottom line at the end of the year. Sewer doesn't have that so far.
I'm glad that you mentioned that, because I want to piggyback on that. But this week and the last couple of days, I looked at what she talked about last week. And what I have found out, that there's something called execution at a higher level. And in terms of budgeting. And that's really what Ms. Fletcher was talking about. And I'm glad to see that, I mean, again, you're on top of it, but can we look at the entire budget in that fashion, not just the line items that she has mentioned, but to come back to our department heads. And set, and diligently pursuing, because in looking at it, I see something greater that coming out of this if we pursued it and require some type of where the savings are recognized, some type of SOP developed departmental wise, which puts the thought process going forward of a consciousness of savings, to create that consciousness within. And this is good dialogue. You know, some not interested in it because it's not what their thing is. But I want to see money saved. I want to see the town prosper. I want to see it grow. And I want our people who live here to be able to stay here. So I think that quiet is kept, and she's a quiet person. She's always going, never saying too much. But I really plugged into that last week, because in the beginning, I took also a little nonchalant about it, all the stuff that we've got to do. And that's when I think I asked you how much money was it going to say, but I realized that's the short-term thing that we collectively need to take a serious look at. Now, if there's any place that you pay somebody to do anything, that would be try to look at cost savings on board, but we can't do that. So let's do it internally. And I would ask in your letter, your follow-up on this, because I think it's essential, a SOP developed in terms of those savings so that we don't go back to yesterday. I think that's kind of what the auditors do for you guys, you know, these are the things that, you know, you do. Let's look at those figures that we come back with if we go forward with this across the board and see where they are, and then institutionalize them going forward.
And I agree. I think that's a message you as a council, mayor, town manager are delivering. I have said this before, the town staff, department heads, just because it's in the budget, they're not to spend it just because it's there. I think other budgets are made that way. You gotta spend it, use it or lose it. The town does not do that. And like I said, I'm very happy that Candace and Teron have hooked on to that. Teron is like He is all over. trying to
Always,
save it.
always looking
Yes,
for where we can save.
and he's working. with
Lots of
Candace.
discussions
That's
about it.
good, yeah. So, I think, again, a memo of expressing that as a position is not a bad thing. So,
Okay.
And Randy and I also talked about that.
That's good.
He's gonna be on checking the lights
That's good.
and all in
That's
the
great.
park, so.
Has he talked about his safety committee? too?
No, but I'm writing that down,
Okay.
right now. So, I mean, when you look at a budget like this, and it may not look like it, but it makes a difference of the little things too. If you can save on those and don't have to, and you don't realize how much you're saving, that adds up to put somewhere else. And it makes a difference.
It does make a difference.
It might not seem like.
No, it
but
does.
really makes a difference.
And, you know, when you work on the budget amendment and you review it 6 months, that is the kind of thing you're looking for also. If something else, Bobby, has a pump that's going up, he's got 5 instead of 4, you're looking at something else that was less to be able to offset that without, you know, going into reserves. But Bobby's got big expenses usually, like you're saying, when it goes wrong, $150,000.
Yeah.
Well, thank goodness for the ARPA.
Now, most of your materials and equipment that you get, is it guaranteed? Y'all have warranties on them?
No, usually not.
Oh, well, that's something else. That's a way of saving too.
And most of it, like our big pumps, we might have a manufacturer warranty of 6 months, but they have a lead time of 6 months to get them in the door. So you put the order in, you get it on the shelf, 6 months later, it's already expired. So when you need it, you put it in, you have an issue, it doesn't work, you'd have to send it out to rebuild.
So is that based on the company's standards and?
And usually we never run into that problem. We usually don't run into that issue. But, you know, if it blew up 2 months after you started using it, but it's out on the shelf for 3-4 months, then it's out of warranty.
Okay.
When you talk about the future, Bobby, and you're also working on maintenance contracts with these companies to service your equipment, to maintain it.
And we have to, because there's, you know, town personnel, we have to train them on certain procedures. OSHA's told us that they need to be trained on lockout tag, and we have to have specific programs in place for them, for our employees to properly do the work. If you aren't training them properly,
Right.
and we don't have the programs in place, then I have to outsource the work to be done on the equipment.
Yeah, training is important, very important.
So the service contracts, I'm trying to bake them into the, you know, the budget. That way, every year, there's somebody at minimum putting eyes on it, fixing the equipment, checking the
That's the
equipment.
future too. I mean, he's talked to me quite a bit, and I said, you're gonna have to be able to tell the mayor and
Well,
council.
I'm glad that everyone's here to hear this today, because it isn't, I want to come back to where you started. It is not just about where we are today, it's creating the vision for where we're going. The law says the nation without vision perishes. The town, the community without vision perishes. And that's what we've got to come together, Bobby, and the rest of us in here and in this town, working together to create that vision that we want and work on it together. I appreciate, I told you when I visited with you out there, I appreciate what you do. There's not a person in this room that I haven't visited with and said the same thing. But my vision for this town is somewhat different than a lot of folks. And that's what we've got to come together on. How to get it done together, not go in different ways. Thank you, sir. Appreciate you.
And, you know, I want to say, it's not just me, you know, it's kept me straight. Sharon helps keep me straight.
Well,
You know,
team, that's called
It
team.
is.
That's called
and-
team.
but
It is a
it-
team. Thank
You
you,
know,
Bobby.
you know,
Yeah, it is a
everyone-
team.
the employees of the town care, and they're the most valuable asset.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And everyone helps in their way, and helps make sure everyone can get their job done.
Yeah, you are the backbone of this community. Backbone, and you make it happen. Otherwise, it wouldn't. And you have a deep caring and passion for this town, and I appreciate it every day. I see what you do because I'm there every day. And I've seen other groups, work as a team, and, this is one of the best I've ever seen, so you're amazing.
Thank you so much. And has it been a year for you yet?
Been a year and a half, I think.
Oh.
Yeah.
Any more questions
Thank
for
you,
Bobby?
sir.
He's gotta go. Okay, thank you very
All right,
much.
thank you.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. Questions for Mr. Lewis?
Capital improvement.
Capital improvement.
Looks like, the lines we talked about for grants. I want to go back to, capital improvement for the PNC Bank building.
Sorry, I think I probably answered your email, I was probably from your email. The, funding, the capital improvement budget has funding, and that's where that funding is. It is not a grant. That is town reserves that have been put into the capital improvement budget. The same as we discussed with the, basketball courts. If you don't get grant funding, this is the funds that are in the capital improvement plan budget.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Right.
Mayor,
Behind the budget.
Would you know about the matching funds or would that be set?
That was requested in fiscal year 25, this particular budget year, $100,000 for matching funds. And so that is also sitting there in your capital improvement budget funds. I think it's only spent about $1,150 here for a matching fund, so you have $98,850.
So would you,
But what is
Explain
it for
what that
any
means.
particular grant?
As it comes
Or,
along.
As they come
You may
along.
know, Paul may know, do you have any committed for the matching fund?
No, I mean, but if you go for a big grant, you have to have a community match, which they, a lot of them do. We need to have some funds in reserve. So that's fund has been there now for a couple of years. So if we have to go for something like wastewater treatment plant or something like that, then they will ask for a community match, just like, well, for instance, Purnell Street. There's a town match, just so happens we're luckily it's ARPA funds.
thank
So,
you.
yeah.
and your operating budget under the police and public works, there's a line to transfer money back to the capital improvement budget because of their leases on their cars and their equipment. So it is actually in the operating budget to reload the capital improvement budget because it was exhausted. This started in fiscal year 21, I think. So at fiscal year 26, you just, on the budget amendment process, we put $800 and some thousand back into the capital improvement budget, which is already, it's sitting there, but some of it is accounted for in the leases and different things. In other words, equipment that they bought for 5 years. I'm trying to restock it, so to speak.
And I address the issue well with other people. I've advocated for this basketball court. I don't know that should it go, or even if it goes the way of the county funding. I'm not so certain that that's going to be a good use of money. And the reason that I say that is that basketball court setting on sinking road. And within the next period of time, whatever you want to call it, again, looking to the future, where I see it, is that the realistic piece that's about that, putting that basketball court there. The realistic piece says that $66,000 in Eddie Lee's mind may be better served in undergirding or helping undergird and stabilize that part. Or that would be able to, that area, let me say that again. Probably, this may be a better statement. I think that before you can put a basketball court on there, you're gonna have to raise that level and solidify and secure whatever the proper wording is when you talk about construction. That foundation to do it, to put it on. And then I look at I raised a question with someone today or yesterday. Is there a better location for that basketball court in the short term? I don't know. I don't know certainly that in the short term or long term, what I'm saying is accurate. But I do believe that, and I owe it to the persons at this table and those in the audience also, that we need to reevaluate the expenditure, that expenditure. To spend that money now, and I think we need to take a hard look at it. So that's a short-term, long-term thing. I'm not suggesting remove the money at this point, suggesting that the money stay there for the purpose. But I think we really need to take a serious look at, a hard look at location and the long-term effect on it and see where we invest. Maybe, and I don't know, again, there was a world according to someone's on the outside looking in. Maybe that money could be used for the basketball court in some other fashion that builds the park up with it to come in. I don't know, but I remember in 1998, that was the first real effort on the part of one of the mayors, past mayors, to take a look at that book. And I'm almost certain that we asked for, or the community asked for, a new basketball court. Was very disappointed with a surface company of it. And sure enough, it broke. It did not last. So I just think that what I'm saying to my colleagues is that let's get the money, you don't stare a gift horse in the mouth. But, I think we need to come back at some point and take a look at, the long-term future of it. Okay?
So, am I hearing you correctly that you're backing off of the basketball courts? I'm not sure, because at the last meeting, we had a long conversation about this.
I just said that I wasn't, man. I just said that I was not.
You said that you was not what?
I
Or
said,
that you were not what?
I said, you don't stare at this horse in the mouth and go forward with it. But make an evaluation when the money comes of how to go forward and what are the options that we have.
So what I'm hearing
I'm
is,
not backing off from it, man.
I'm just confused. I really am confused because we have asked the county, and I have talked to 3 commissioners so far that are very supportive of our county budget requests. They have said that Snow Hill as a municipality has done a very good job in their request. And one of them is Bird Park. And there's 3 stages to Bird Park. We're asking for over, $171,000 for Bird Park and the flooding. And that's just the first 3 stages. There's 2 more stages that we could go to that are much more expensive. But they feel that we are very accurate in our requests. And as you know, the Bird Park, we further are asking to completely replace the existing basketball courts that are in deteriorating condition to the amount of $66,518. And like I have talked about before, and I know it's election day, but at 10 o'clock, they'll have a budget hearing. And I want to make sure that we're all, is it in the evening? Oh, I thought it was at 10. No? What time is it?
Don't know exact time, but I do know that.
Oh, good. I think that may be better
Schools.
for you guys.
So it's like, I think it's 5 or 6.
5 or 6. Okay, well, that's good to hear. Okay, thank you. That would be good, but, they, and the president of the commissioner said they have not heard, as far as their discussions so far, any questions about the Snow Hill budget. So I've still got several others to talk to, but they are so much in support. I really don't know where this is coming from about changing our support for this. And I know you said that, but you still seem to have questions about it happening now.
I don't have any questions about it happening. I'm gonna continue to support it to the commissioners, just as you are doing. I'm gonna be there on the 6th and support it just as you're gonna do. And I'm gonna continue to support the entire Snow Hill budget as you do. When that gets funded, when we've got that piece locked down, I'm going to come back and say, hey, guys, let's take a look at this and see if we're in the right path on this, or do we need to bip or bop? Do we need to make some tweaking? So that's really what I'm saying, Mayor.
Okay, well, I just want to hear from you that you
Mayor,
are still
I
in
said,
support of this.
Mayor, I said that.
Don't interrupt me, please. I'm saying that I need your full support for this. I don't want someone in conversation saying, well, at the work session, Mr. Lee seemed to want to do something different with this. I want a clear message from all of us that we're on board for what we're asking. And I showed this to you before, we submitted it to the county commissioners. And so I want us to all be on board. That's all I want to say. All right, any other questions on capital improvements? No? Okay. Anything else in council? Okay. Comments from the public?
Finished up.
Oh, I thought you were finished.
You said that from the. cap-
Okay, well, go ahead next. What's next?
Line 7016. Our legal fee. They are beyond the roof. And I know some things that we need them for. But I think that we need to cut down on that. They would be under. Finance and
Finance
administration.
administration.
And I know it has to be separate for water and sewer, but it would be under the revenues for the water fund. I mean, expenses for the water fund. Be under expenses for the sewer.
And how much are you wanting to cut? And where is it gonna go? Once you cut it.
The expenses under the sewer fund. I'm saying I'll cut it right back to what his budget request was for, 7,500. And he could use that for his equipment or maintenance.
And what was it originally?
The proposal is for 15,000.
Okay.
And the 7,500 to 7,200 under the sewer.
No, I said to the 7,500 that he requested.
I'm sorry,
That was
the
requested.
7,500 coming off of 7016 and then putting it on line number 7,200, equipment going.
Oh, yes.
3,200? What, new building? Yeah.
And water. Is that 12?
Is council, agreeing on this change? Yes,
Yes.
yes. So it was 7,500 or 7,200?
It's 7,500 is the amount, it's line number 7,200.
Okay.
So it's going from 1244, 7016 to 1244, 7,200.
Or, I say the budget for, it's the budget requested.
Where are we for?
5,000.
Line
Line
water,
76.
7016,
Yeah,
from 12,000 to $5,000. And where would you like the 5,000 to 7,000?
7,000?
7,000 placed.
and go under, water maintenance or well maintenance.
And I see I have a note here, under insurance. 7205 is the water maintenance, which I think is where Bobby's getting the meters.
7205?
Yeah, so he's got 26,000 from 80,000. You see that?
From where?
From 7205, water maintenance.
Oh, yes.
I would suggest, since you just said, that was one of the lines you said, that maybe you would put it there. If everyone agrees with that. I think that's where he's cutting his meters.
Okay,
Meter
and
replacement.
what number is that?
It is 7205.
Okay. Is council okay with that?
Yes.
Under the finance, 7016, I said cut it back to 90,000.
And that's, what number is that again?
7016.
And cut it to 90,000? That was 100?
Yes.
Yes. Council, are you okay with that?
Do you want that in reserve funding with the other 2,900?
Yeah.
Good with that?
Yes, that's what I was saying.
Okay. Good, everybody good? Okay. Do you have another section you want to go over? No? Are we good? Or everybody? Okay. Are we ready for comments from the public?
There are none.
There are none. Announcements from council. Councilperson Fletcher, we'll start with you. Any comments? Any?
At the firehouse tomorrow, I think it is 3 to 6, it's a job fair going on, and they have their banquet on weekend. Doing Toronto, thanks again. Looking at numbers. Thousands of emails I get.
All you have? Personal things, and you can.
I just like to encourage everybody to come out and vote on May 6th, especially if you live in the central district.
Wonderful. Councilperson Lee, anything you'd like to
Yeah,
announce?
I'd like to add to that. What about their friends? If they don't live there, got some friends in there,
Yeah.
tell them to come to the polls also.
7 to 7.
So,
May 6th. Just that the Easter egg hunt was a blast, beautiful weather, well attended, such a great time for everybody and I just loved watching those little kids. They just had a ball, big kids and little kids, I guess. And again, please call commissioners to support the town of Snow Hill budget. We've had a lot of support from the commissioners, for all our projects, and some of them want to meet with us even next year before, the budget, because they're willing to help. They want county seat of Worcester County to thrive. And I've been told we need so much, and they're willing to sit down and help us. So I'm really looking forward to something like that happening, that partnership between us. Okay, do I have a motion to adjourn?
I make a motion to adjourn.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Meeting is adjourned. Thank you all for coming.
Thanks, Maureen.
Thanks, Maureen. Didn't have to speak tonight.